Welcome to the FPL USA Press Play Podcast. This is a milestone episode for us, as it is the first time under this banner that we are actually doing an in real life recording. So I'm Bucks. I'm joined in my living room in the flesh with Brian Chin. Chinny, the best manager on the podcast last season. How the hell are you, man?
Coast to coast. Good to see you, my guy. Cheers
Yeah,
to you.
cheers. Like that.
We got an IRL pod here in Brooklyn. Feels good to be out in New York, taking the smells, the street pizzas, all the different things that the city provides. But most importantly, I'm here in the flesh with Jonathan Bucksbaum because we are going to break down the Midfield Mania. Let's fucking go, baby. Let's go. I'm hyped. I'm coming straight off of a work happy hour. Couple of cervezas in me, and now we are ready to dive in to talk all things midfielders.
Wow, I like that you're just highlighting the pizza and the beers and not that huge plate of pasta you just downed in front of my wife. I think she had to go to the bedroom. She was so horrified. This, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, is one of our preseason mainstay episodes. We break down the positional groups. This episode is going to be all about the madness in the middle, the midfielders. This is kind of the engine room for FPL points. They can benefit from defensive contributions, clean sheets, assists, goals. They get it all. So
Don't
this
forget
is pretty
those
important.
DEFCON points as well this year. Even more angles to dive into for FPL.
All right, so let's start like we always do. Again, we are the FPL USA Press Play Podcast. Follow us on social, wherever you want to tune in on live. We have a YouTube channel we are really working to grow. And we also have a free-to-enter prize mini league. The code for that, PELL04, PEL04. We'd love to have you involved. The top 3 finishers are going to be receiving free Premier League kits, and we'll also be doing some giveaways and shout outs throughout the season. So we'd love to have you along the ride for that in our free-to-enter mini league.
That's right. We're going to have a couple hundred in there at the very least. I think we had close to 500 last year. So
come on, we got kids to put in college, man. Go easy.
Please join us there and follow us along the journey. And now, Bucks, let's just start from the top. Let's talk about the premium midfielders this season. Overall, what were you thinking about the pricing for some of these guys? Let's cover Salah, Palmer, Saka, Bruno.
Yeah, the super premiums. First and foremost, I think we need to pay appropriate respects. All hail to the FPL king, the Egyptian king himself. That is Mo Salah. He's neck, shoulders, beautiful fro that he cut off for the good of the game, for more aerodynamic speed bursts and the last season. He's the super premium of super premiums this season, deservedly coming in at 14.5 million. He set the league on fire last year, led Liverpool to a Premier League title, won the Golden Boot, pretty much won and took home every personal award there was to win in the Premier League domestically. And the Egyptian king has been Mr. Consistent, at least in my career. He's by far and away the best Premier League player. He's the best FPL player to really double down on that. So I think really deserved good price point. He's a player that, for me at least, is essential. What's your feel there, Brian?
I mean, truly incredible. Like a fine red wine. He is just aging beautifully. I couldn't believe the tear that he started last season on. And honestly, if he didn't have his lull, he probably would have been able
all-time
to get
record.
The Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, he was on pace. So this season, he gets his most expensive price tag ever. And based on what we're seeing across the FPL community, he's essential. Because when you're looking at taking on his EV right now, based on what we know, I still think you start with him game week 1, and then you can look past that first 6 game week window, and then maybe you could switch to another player like a Haaland. But for me, the main thing with Salah is Isak going to be coming into the fold.
Oh, interesting.
Verts and Isak probably.
And Ekitike. I mean, there's a lot of mouths to feed.
That's right.
Well, they were the Premier League winners last season. They're comfortably the favorites going into this season, and they were also the best attack last season. And, you know, they're only strengthening what was already a real strength of theirs with some of their summer transfer signings. We just should say, you know, Salah in game week 1 is a monster. He has an incredible record of returns in game week 1. I think he has like 6 double-digit returns for FPL points in the last 7 FPL seasons of game week 1.
Yep.
So he's owned by almost 60% of the managers that have signed up. He's going to be kind of, the most popular captain game week 1. So if you decide to go against him, right, that's kind of like the ultimate panic move.
Nope.
You can't
do it.
You can't win FPL in game week 1, but you certainly can set yourself up to lose it. And I think kind of going without the king, that's an easy way to set yourself up. Maybe, 6-8 points behind the field, with only 1 week of fixtures and returns in the book. So for me, he's almost the first name in my team sheet. I haven't made a draft without him.
Yep. Before we move any further, I think the point I want to just join you on is you want to go relatively template in your game week 1 side. Maybe you have, 3 to 5 different picks, but the main big hitters, those big D swingers, you really need to have them because you're playing this game versus millions of other managers who are also going to be starting with Mo Salah. And it's just not the risk that you need to start without him. So
especially when he's at home. I mean, the fixture isn't great on paper. Bournemouth are a good team, but just in front of the home,
though, Zabarni might go to PSG.
You could talk your way into it. But I think it's the hive mind pick.
3 goals minimum.
Hive mind pick. He's going to be the most popular captain. It's just fit him in, captain him, and make those tough decisions starting in game week 2. That's the way I approach it.
Enough said.
Let's bounce to the kind of premiums that aren't Mo Salah tier. These are the captainable talismans, I think. So this includes Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka, and Bruno Fernandes. These guys are 10.5 million to 9 million. And really the first name in my FPL team sheet, maybe it's the fact that I'm like an incredibly biased Chelsea fan, but Cole Palmer is not going anywhere if not in my FPL starting lineup. I think Chelsea right now, if you look at the fixture ticker, they have the most favorable opening fixture run.
Beautiful.
Now, that means he might not be in place for the entire first half, just based on how those fixtures might turn. But he's coming off a relatively down season where, he only scored 15 goals and registered an additional 10 assists. So I'm not alone in thinking he's a great pick for this FPL season. I think Chelsea are going to be far improved, and they have ambitions of saying that, top 4 is not enough. I think they really want to win one of these more respected trophies this season. And I just think the only downside is the lack of preseason. But I think that's more going to hit and really take impact in like game week 4 or 5 once those first international breaks roll around. I think come game week 1, everyone's rolling, adrenaline is flowing. He's gonna chippy chip in with at least 1, if not 2 attacking returns. So he's not going nowhere out of my team.
Yeah,
Brian, you have him?
It's very interesting to think about the lull that he had at the end of last season where he hit the post a couple times, missed some big chances, and just really tailed off quite a bit. And he still ended up on 214 points in the season.
He's a monster.
So, absolute monster on pens, set pieces. He's definitely a great pick. And like you said, the fixtures when you're opening with Crystal Palace at home, West Ham away, Fulham at home, Brentford away, United. I mean, these are good fixtures for Cole
and
Palmer.
Also you don't really have to travel, which I think is not something that's being talked about enough.
Yeah.
The fact is Chelsea aren't going to leave London for the first month of the season. So, right, like they'll be training, they'll be sleeping in their own beds. And I think that's really important for Chelsea specifically because they're going to have by far the shortest preseason.
So tell me a little bit more, Bucks, about where you see him fitting in Reska's second season. Because before, I think, especially in that period of time where he was not performing for FPL and hadn't scored an open play goal in fucking ages. I mean, I still remember going through that.
Yeah, I had him all those weeks that he didn't return.
Brutal. It was brutal. But do you see him playing more on the right this season? And then do you think João Pedro's addition as another link-up player plus a classy finisher is going to increase his assist potential? Because we saw him create a ton of chances for guys that were just missing left, right, and center. So, where do you see him really being effective in FPL this season on the pitch?
Yeah, so I think his best position is the right wing. So I think that's where we're going to see him line up. I think Esteval is going to be a great deputy, but he's not going to be challenging him game week 1. And I think
first year in the Premier League, very much like
very raw
coming
talent.
To the big leagues for the first time, young, definitely not ready for any threatening minutes. I would say at least in the league.
Yeah, and I think, there's rumors of Xavi Simons coming in. That would be a brilliant move for Chelsea, in my opinion. I think he would be the one that would actually take the number 10 role. But I think what Chelsea's attack is looking to do, and we saw shades of this in the Club World Cup, is just be a lot more fluid and interchangeable. So, Neto could line up as first choice left wing, but end up drifting into the right wing spots. Xavi Simons could then move over to the left wing. Palmer could then play the number 10. João Pedro and Palmer could switch from the 9 to the 10. So I think they have a really versatile attack. And maybe what went under the radar last season with poor finishing was that Chelsea were a chance creating machine. I know, Slot said it, Arteta said it, that Chelsea's attack was the best one that they went up against all season. And, the proof wasn't really in the pudding there from a goal scoring perspective. I think we're going to get a lot closer to there this season. So
yeah,
they
1-0'd so many victories to get to that.
Yeah, or like 2-1.
But this season, I think the ceiling in a lot of these games is actually be 3-1. Like they're going to be scoring multiple goals.
I think they're going to push Liverpool for the best attack in the league.
Wow.
And I actually think that Cole Palmer is probably underpriced at 10.5 million. Maybe not so spicy knowing my bias here, but he's a full 4 million cheaper than Mo Salah. And I think when it comes to, the brass tacks at the end of the season, they're not going to be, 4 million in value from a points perspective apart. I think maybe there's 30, 40 points difference, if that.
Yeah, and then I think when you're looking at game week 3, when Liverpool plays at home versus Arsenal, you're definitely going to want him as your leading captain when Chelsea are going to face Fulham at home. I think that's a big captain swing, and so that's why it makes a ton of sense to go with him as your second premium. All right, let's move over to the other London squad where Bukayo Saka is coming off of a very injury-riddled season. Only 6 goals, 11 assists, but only played 1,700 minutes. That's crazy because typically we see him getting run into the freaking ground like a steak building.
Well, it's happening already in preseason.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to regain his fitness and play 25 to 2,700 minutes because they're obviously brought in Noni.
And they have, they want to go deep in Champions League again. I think this team is really, they've strengthened their depth. I don't know if they've necessarily dramatically improved the starting 11 outside of Gyökeres, who I think he's going to have an instant impact on Saka's ceiling.
I think Zubimendi is going to be a huge addition because Declan Rice is going to push up further on the pitch and use some of his creativity and not do as much box-to-box defensive work. So
our first disagreement, I like that.
I think those two players are very versatile in enabling the rest of the squad to reach their potential. Now, if Eze were to join, that's another player
that's a good point.
Rate him very highly above somebody like Martinelli, who's been up and down like a yo-yo. He's been very inconsistent. So there are things at play that could still happen in this transfer window.
Oh my God, if he came in, that would change things.
Very much pace. But right now, they have pretty mixed fixtures to start the season. And at his price of 10 million, it's just not worth going there right away.
Really?
Some people are tempted by him in game week 2, I believe, when Arsenal is playing Leeds. But outside of that, I just don't think this fixture run is where we need to jump on right away because they're playing United away, then they're going to have Liverpool, and then City in game week 5. So I'm actually, we're going to be talking about our game week 1 drafts next week, but I think I might be swerving Arsenal completely. I think I might have 0 Arsenal players in my game week 1 side because of this kind of early fixture run. And I just think right now we're staying away from Saka, and that's what we're seeing in the meta as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I actually think that Arsenal are going to be a better team than they were last season, but they might be across the board worse for FPL. The DEFCON doesn't favor their defenders because they're so possession heavy. And I just think there's a lot of mouths to feed as they share the goals and assists. So, mentioned Declan Rice, Odegaard, this Gyökeres guy, Martinelli, Saka. I just think right now the kind of upside move is to go for Saka because he's actually a differential. He's less than 20% owned. And again, he's the kind of player that he doesn't really need a massive performance to get bonus points because of the gravity of all he does on the pitch with the passing and the dribbling and the defensive work. He often would just fall flat into kind of 2 bonus points, even when he got an assist. So I think he's a player right now that I'm not picking, but he's going massively under the radar based on kind of the fixtures and kind of some of the bad vibes we had coming off that injury last season.
And one of those main reasons why he's going under the radar is because teams are looking to fit in Salah, Palmer, and maybe even Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, good transition.
Who is really priced at an interesting number. He gets a price increase from last season, but that is because of his DEFCON points added to his total. So, excuse me.
Oh, interesting. That's what you think? Because I think it's just the team around him. So
it's
he's going to fall into more
so
points.
Just interesting looking at the top 3 players we just talked about. Salah, 0 DEFCON points. Saka, 0 DEFCON points. Cole Palmer, 2. Bruno Fernandes, 22 extra points. And I think because the attackers on the wings are much better, and now Sesko
could be coming in. Not done yet. Not done yet.
Almost a here we go. He was the number 1 chance creator in the league last year, just passing to absolute stiffs. I mean, these guys were pretty awful. So I feel like if he plays deeper, he's going to be in a position to get DEFCON points. If he plays in part of a front 3, he's going to be on pens, set pieces. I'm just very impressed with his high floor. Like the ceiling, I don't think he's going to be a player who's going to get you a hat trick, but he is a player that the goal and assist games that he's going to probably rack up this year. And like I said, we don't know how Manchester United are really going to come together as a squad, but that's the talent and the money that they've spent and actually getting players that can link up and are intuitive and just know how to just dissect teams. And I just kind of love that they brought in just alphas, right? Like we've seen Brentford and Bumo, he's been the focal point of their attack, or at least one of the top
20 goals last season.
Yeah, and he's coming into the side where, you know, I trust his passing. I trust him to make a lot of the right plays. And same thing with Cunha, like because they've had that alpha mentality, I would say, you know, Rashford, God bless his soul, but he dwindled over time. His confidence was gone. These guys are confident players. They have the upside of 15 to 20 goals. And alongside Fernandes, I could see him recording maybe 15 FPL assists this season. I would not be surprised.
I like that take. One more thing on Bruno. You know, you mentioned game week 3 when Liverpool and Arsenal are playing each other, kind of ruling out potentially Salah and Saka for captaincy. In that game week, Bruno has Burnley. So he's also going to be one of those meta captaincy picks.
I can see Burnley giving away a pen that game easily.
Yeah.
One of our friends of the FPL world, Steve, I could see him fucking up and some points trickling into the Devils' pockets. But
the issue is with Bruno, and I mean, this might be just like the way I like to play. You know, I expect he's going to be playing pretty deep. So it's almost like, you know, he's 9 million, but he could be playing in the same positions that like Declan Rice or Rodri is taking up at 6.5 million. So that
I just don't mind it because the DEFCON points, if he plays behind, he's going to have so many games where he has 5 points because he gets the 2 points, maybe a clean sheet. And so even if he gets an assist,
you're saying his floor is pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. In 11 games out of the 38, he got DEFCON points.
Yeah, I like that.
And then he also had 20 returns total between.
And he did miss 2 games for red cards. So, you know, maybe the more DEFCON points mean less red cards.
My only 2 hits last season in my epic 533 overall rank was ripping Bruno out of my team for red cards and injuries. Killed me. All right. Let's
keep it
transition.
moving.
We're going way long even on these top guys. But I think the next bracket, we just want to say farewell to Luis Diaz and, my boy, Mr. Sonny Boy.
He's moving to your backyard, though. I think you're going to get to see more of him.
Yeah,
it's not goodbye. It's just see you later, alligator.
My good FPL buddy Stein is just south of me, and we're already talking about, you know, when do we get to LA to see Sonny Boy play? But, you know, Son especially, a legend of the club. Glad that he went out with a trophy, but he was obviously, you know, on the other side of his career, was not playing very consistently, and they got fresh legs and a lot of, I mean, I guess he still had, 19 FPL returns? No, something like that last season.
You're in because you love
18.
him so much.
He had 18. He had 7 goals and 11 assists. So, you know, not awful.
Yeah, he looked pretty bad. Yeah, down the stretch run. Let's be professionals here and label the transition segment we're going to. These are the guys that could be any game week heroes. They're not going to be players that you're looking to kind of win your league, but in any game week, these guys could be the top point scorers. I'm really labeling that the 8.5 to 7.5 million bracket. And it's highlighted by kind of 2 relatively new entrants to the Premier League, starting with the British record, the overall soccer, footy, record transfer. That's Florian Wirtz coming to Liverpool from Bayer Leverkusen. He's 8.5 million. Again, he's going to be playing the 10 for Liverpool. The league's best attack.
Taking all the set pieces.
Yeah, that Salah isn't taking. I like that too.
Corners too. Like he's taking them off of.
I saw from Robbo and Trent's not there. He's getting a lot more ways to get FPL points.
So I really is cast aside, and he's taking a lot of these set pieces. So I thought he was underpriced. 8.5. I thought he was going to be 9 or 9.5, and mainly because even though he played in the Farmers League and playing against these Bundesliga scrubs, he always delivered in Champions League and for the national team. And I love that he can be a big game player. And when he's going to be playing with much better talent here at Liverpool, I just see this player getting 22 to 25 returns this season. Wow. If he plays 3,000 minutes, I think he's a 25. I think he's upside 190 points on this team if he's going to be fit and play all these minutes. So,
all right, I'm going to take the complete other side of that coin. I think he's an absolute wait and see because
he's very popular right now.
He's very popular. I think he's the kind of top picked option in this price bracket by a country mile. And I think just for me, I know Mo Salah is fixture proof. I'm not so sure that Florian Wirtz is going to be fixture proof. And again, the issue with Liverpool is just there's a lot of mouths to feed. And so I don't know if Florian Wirtz is definitely
he does the feeding. He's going to be putting people on the end of the golden spoon.
They also have McAllister and Szoboszlai and Gakpo, and these guys are all creative engines. They brought in Frimpong and Kirkez, and it's not like they're starved for creative or talent. Players with absurd levels of talent. So he's one that, for me at least, I'm going to wait until, he's at a price point where I want to have that covered. But I don't think he's going to be in my game week 1 side. I think he's a player. This is one of the lessons I actually took from Christopher Nkunku last season. He was one of those kind of like massive hive mind. The hype was all there because of his Bundesliga output.
And he played well in.
Yeah, and he played well in the preseason. But, I think just it takes a couple game weeks. The Premier League is a different beast. So Florian Wirtz for me is not going to be in my game week 1 team.
We're on other sides of that coin right now. I think he's a great option. But
let's go to the next guy because I think this is another player that's very much dividing the FPL community, and that's Omar Marmoush, the Egyptian prince. Now, he's not quite Mo Salah, and we can all say that few of us are as great and what we do as Mo Salah is. Now, Marmoush also comes in at 8.5 million. I think he's the most nailed non-Holland Manchester City attacker.
Interesting.
And Manchester City, definitely when you look at Liverpool, their attacking fixtures are much better. So, the only drawback for me, at least, is like, what's his best position? Because there were times last season where I was unfortunate enough to captain him, and he was basically playing like right wing back. You don't want that. And if he's playing like a second striker, which is where I think his best role is, then he's great value. He's a player that I would want to have. But also, I just think kind of there's a little too much unknown. And Manchester City, we haven't really seen them in preseason yet. So Marmoush, he's one on my watch list. But right now, I haven't made spot for either of these guys in my game 1 team. Brian, I see you are going through it right now, just listening to me. And you're like, Bucks, shut the fuck up and let me tell the listeners what the real move is, because I think you like both of these guys.
Yeah, I think Marmoush is definitely tantalizing because of his price tag at 8.5 million. He is reclassified from a forward to a midfielder. He's going to be on some of the set pieces. They paid a hefty price for him, so they expect him to be one of the focal points of.
And he had some of the goals of last season, so he has that in his locker.
Yeah, I would like to see him taking a few shots inside the box instead of outside the box.
Maybe.
But overall, the opening fixtures for City are pretty good, and I think they have the highest expected goal total through the first 6 matches.
Yeah, I saw that.
But nobody knows who's nailed on this team. So if you're going to go for somebody like Omar Marmoush, you are probably hoping for 5 out of 6 starts. You just have to take that.
I think until the international break, he should be good.
Yeah, I just think that some people are going to freak out. If you're the type of manager that freaks out when your player gets a 1-point cameo, and then you're like, he's not nailed, I'm taking him out, I'm moving him instantly.
Yeah, that's
then
me.
It's not for the faint of it's not for the faint of heart. But if you view this player that you're going to hold him for 10 weeks and he's going to get 8+ starts, I think he's going to be very interesting. And just the overhaul in the City team is what I'm a bit just unsure about how it's all going to click. But Rodri coming back is just absolutely massive for both Haaland and for Marmoush and the rest of the attack. I think that's really going to help them transition up the pitch and cover up a lot of their frailties last year. And just like, I don't know, I trust Pep as the manager just overall to figure it out. And based on some of the stiffs that they were putting out.
It helps when you have Haaland and then you had Messi and you had some other massive, world beaters.
Yeah, KDB, yeah. But I think I want a piece of their attack. I'm just not sure if I have the balls to start with Marmoush in my side. One strategy, and just for overall enjoyment of FPL, like after having a really good season, I really kind of want to have less double and triple ups in my team.
Ooh,
and so maybe instead of going for Verts, which would probably be a lot of people are tripled up on VVD, Salah, and Verts, maybe trying to spread the funds around a little bit, hit those max bonus point potential games where you're having maybe
I like that take.
Maybe 8, and it also just the enjoyment for me of having a little skin in each of the games,
and you can watch more games and be like, exactly. Oh, I got that guy. There's more juice.
Even more addicted. Yeah. All right, let's
talk on a couple other guys around this price point. Odegaard, Foden, Mbomo, and Cunha. Now I think
it's a weird bunch. This 8.0 price tag is bizarre.
I think it's kind of like the barren wasteland. The only player I really would consider picking here was Cunha because he can play false 9, and that's really on the premise that Manchester United fail to sign one of these big target forwards. Now they are rumored to be the preferred destination for Šeško.
We're days away from that.
Yeah, and I think that's about deal. So I think basically from where I'm sitting right now with the information we have, none of these 4 guys have FPL relevance for game week 1. And I think maybe they'll have spark plug moments throughout the season, but they're almost at this in-between price where I'd rather either go up or I'd go down, and I wouldn't really think twice about it. You agree?
Yeah, not starting the season with any of these guys. I think there will be times, maybe AFCON, when we see Salah go and you have some open midfielder slots, and you see, like, I think Ahmad will probably be going to AFCON as well, I believe. Yeah. So there will be times where we might see an increase in minutes and just nailed-ness for Bumo and Cunha, but I think with
they're nailed, man. They're funds nailed, they paid for them. They're going to start.
Yeah, they're definitely going to start. But I want to see it on the pitch more. Preseason has looked pretty relatively strong, but I want to see it in the first couple game weeks. So wait and see. But last year, Bumo and Cunha were like my saviors. My season.
They basically powered you into the top 10.
Cunha especially. Like I spent maybe 18 game weeks in the top 5K, and when I was looking back at my team, like, wow, I had Cunha.
So early, I remember that
on him, and he delivered. But we know the type of player that he can be. We'll just see how season 2 under the manager plays out. But right now, stay away from all those guys.
All right, 4 more I want to throw into the mixer.
Foden. Oh my God, player of the year 2 seasons ago. I don't know if does he need a transfer out of his team?
Dude,
what the flying bleep is going on with?
I think he's like 23. He could be one of my kids based on that age. He's so young, and he had so much talent.
He's gotta be like 25, right?
No, I think he has. He has a lot of kids. He has a lot of fun.
He's 25.
25. All right. So maybe not.
Very young
people would look at me sideways. But they already do. Let's talk about the 4 players that I think are worth highlighting. Oh, come on. It's
with a mug like
don't
that.
Stare.
It's Mr. Smug Mug.
All right. We got 4 players we do want to shout out at the 7.5 million price bracket. I think the standout here from where I'm sitting is Eberechi Eze. Now, I think he's FPL relevant and is an excellent pick, assuming he stays at Crystal Palace. Now, I think it becomes a lot more complicated if one of these other London teams that have been rumored, is it Arsenal, is it Chelsea, is it Tottenham, decide to spray a strong offer in Palace's direction, and if he's tempted by that. Now, I think he has agreed personal terms with Arsenal. I might be wrong on that, but I know there was contact there. I almost think if he goes to Arsenal, he becomes a total cross-off. But if he stays put, Palace have looked excellent in preseason.
Yeah, they've been piling in the goals. Even Mateta's been
so 7.5 million. He might be on pens. Mateta sometimes takes.
I expect him to be the leading pen taker this season.
Okay, so again, I think he has like 175, 180 point potential at Palace. Maybe that's 120 points if he makes a move. So that's one definitely to keep an eye on in the transfer window. Then the other 3 names, Gakpo, Gordon, and Gibbs-White.
Gibbs White.
I actually like Gordon. I think that if
White
Isak leaves Newcastle, Gordon all of a sudden becomes like an insanely optimal FPL pick. Newcastle will be way worse, but Gordon's FPL
shooting, as much as Semenyo.
The guy's not going to be passed. He's going to pass to Nico Jackson. I mean, this guy's seen what happens when you do that. So I think he's one definitely that could be on your watch list, contingent on some other things shaking out in the
Their
transfer
opening
window.
Fixtures are pretty
they're blah.
bad.
They're blah.
Yeah. Man, to be
and Gibbs White,
to be a Champions League squad and to lose Isak.
I mean, they can't. Their pull is like negative levels. It's brutal.
I liked the Elanga signing at first, and then when you see Isak trying to leave Newcastle, it is absolutely brutal. Like what is going on with this situation now? They try to go after Sesko. He's not going to be there. It very much could be a really rough season, especially with all the cup competitions that they're going to be in. So, but if there is a shining star, it will be Gordon, and I think he could shoot a ton. So.
I was going to say, the Newcastle fans probably won't notice because they have the most bars in the surrounding 1 mile for St. James. So there's like over 140 bars in the 1 mile.
Sounds like my hometown of in Wisconsin. Man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. One I do want to just mention, Gibbs White. He was reported to go to Spurs. I really liked that move for his FPL value. If that went off, it doesn't go off.
And now Madison is injured too.
And they're out of sliding doors moment in a big way. And I don't know if you saw the Gibbs White representation video with the owner. My wife is Greek. The owner of Forest is Greek. My wife has sat me down for some of those conversations before. It's like, you're not sure. Are we going to get out of this in one piece? Gibbs White, he looked like he was in the sunken place when that press conference. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Little Wario looking mother bleeper. Oh my goodness. Well, I think, he's a clear stay away. Even though they have great fixtures, maybe you go with Wood or somebody else.
Because they get the pens. Gibbs White doesn't offer enough as the finished product.
All right. And then I think the next bracket, you're looking at 7.0. Interesting players here.
Yeah, I think 7.0 to 6.5 is kind of like we're still relevant and we can do shit.
And the main thing is you need to pick at least one of those players in your side if you're going to have two premiums. So that's why this price point is very important. We need somebody to emerge and really deliver FPL points. We thought that person was likely going to be the Morgan Rogers slot, but now today just gets injured in 2 minutes, 3 minutes left.
You're saying he had to come off in 3 minutes. Looks like a pretty bad ankle injury. We don't have confirmation on what it is.
We'll see.
Listen, it was one of those things where he kind of like got up, tried to run it off, immediately went down. The physios get over there. They're like, motioning, trying to address his left ankle. Then they're immediately motioning to the sideline. It's not a good situation, but we'll know more for sure by the time game week 1 rolls around.
I mean, this is a player that at times
I think he's underpriced still. I mean, he was like one of the darlings of last season. I think he started at like 5 million.
People can't take the ball off him. It's truly incredible the way that he's able to manipulate the defenders and drive forward. And after playing his first full season of 3,000 minutes, and he started 37 out of 38 matches.
Machine.
That this has Saka written all over in terms of injury waiting to happen. But for now, I think if it's just a minor injury, he will come into our thoughts for FPL. But right now we have to wait on that news. But got a $2 million price hike. He was in a lot of my drafts to start, and now I'm looking at.
He was one of the nailed guys in my draft.
So and I think with
chopped on the cutting room floor for sure.
And without Asensio and Rashford and a few of these other players that were making the grade last year for Villa, he's going to be called on a little bit more to, I think, score goals, which I think he can improve on. And obviously, what is he, 21?
Yeah,
he's super young, so the growth upside for him is there to play that many minutes, and he links up well with Watkins. So.
And the fixtures are there. I mean, there's like so much to like with the Villa duo of Morgan Rogers and Watkins. And I think knock-on effects is like maybe Watkins is not as sexy a pick either with Rogers out, as kind of he was the little engine that could, even though he's a big lad, going from kind of like deeper midfield into the opponent's box and then finding Watkins or putting the ball on goal. I mean, they really were a kind of, a super combo 1-2 there. Speaking of 7 million guys that could really outperform their price tag, we got Kluivert and Semenyo, the Bournemouth duo in midfield. They're both 7 million. I love both these guys.
Whoa,
I think one of them are going to be in my team, especially if Rodgers is not. Clivert has the penalties. Semenyo has this audacious need to shoot on sight. I think right now Bournemouth are the team that's being most slept on due to their game week 1 fixture at Liverpool. After that, the fixtures are actually pretty nice, and Bournemouth, they don't take any prisoners. They go into these games with insane confidence, and Iraola, their coach, has them playing really solid defense and just going for it in attack. So yeah, I think Clivert would be my pick if I had to choose one.
It's interesting. I'm just playing around with the Fantasy Football Scout ticker, and if you eliminate the game week 1 fixture versus Liverpool, they actually move up to having the 4th best difficulty, in the FDR. So, it's one of those things like mentally when you move a fixture around, if this was the fixture in...
Yeah, if it was game week 5, like we'd all have one of these guys.
Yeah, so interesting place to be. I'm a little worried about some of the players that they lost. We'll see how that affects them from the back and building up. But 2 players that are not on my game week 1 watch list, but I respect what they can do. So let's move on, because I think
one more I just want to throw in. Let's talk about Brennan Johnson. He's $7 million. Now Madison was also priced at $7 million.
I think you're like the only person who wants to talk about BJ.
Oh, well, I think, Kudus is a player that you're seeing in a lot of teams on social media, and he's just 0.5 million less. But I think sneaky Brennan Johnson is probably the better pick. He's more nailed. He has a position. He's going to be, running down the wing. And I think
running down the wing, hear Paz sing.
He doesn't get any respect in his own. He doesn't get any respect in his own home because I think he's dating Bonnie Blue. But I can at least give him a little bit of shout and some shine on this podcast. I think he could be in for like an 18 or 19 goal involvement season. And the Spurs opening fixtures are excellent. So that's kind of what has me at least looking at him. They start with Burnley. I think they play Leeds again in the opening couple matches. So Brennan Johnson, he's definitely a differential. So that's kind of one of the Bucks ones for the deep cut.
I have not thought about him a single time, but he actually, 11 goals, 6 assists. He had that hot streak.
Not so bad after all.
I mean, you did, call him 18 to 20. That could happen again, but I'm not
Son.
I just don't know.
No
I don't know who's nailed for this team yet. I want to see Frank in action, but I do rate them to be more organized
and Frank gets a lot out of his front 3. So that's historically proven.
Any other players here? We have Shada, Neto, Savinho, Alanga. I think these guys are all stayaways for now.
I mean, if let's say Vissa does leave, I mean, Shada doesn't immediately become FPL relevant. I think the guy who's backing up at the forward spot is more likely to become the man at Brentford. But Brentford they've lost so much. I mean, they lost Mbomo. He was their kind of creative engine. They lost their goalkeeper. They lost their coach. They lost their best midfielder.
All right, we're losing time. Let's stop talking about that team.
On to the 6.5 millionaires.
Right.
I think let's start at the top with Declan Rice. Probably had the best single-year performance for Arsenal in that back-to-back match against Real Madrid that anyone's seen in our lifetimes in the last 40-odd years.
Those free kicks, my goodness.
6.5 million. He does offer set pieces, some attacking returns, and Siebert, which is the, challenges, blocks, interceptions, recoveries, and tackles. I like Rice. I don't have a spot for him based on the fixtures, but I think he's a player that if we time it right this season, he's going to become like the kind of clear third option for an FPL triple up from Arsenal. So I really like the price point, and I think he will have FPL relevance this season.
I mean, we were talking earlier about Zubamendi maybe doing more of the defensive dirty work in the midfield so he can press up and get more involved with the attack.
Rice does both. The guy loves no slide tackle where he just like licks that long leg out and the ball's at his foot.
He did have 18 defensive contribution points last season, so there is maybe a potential high floor there, but wait and see. I think some of the sexier 6.5 guys that we want to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it.
Where do you start? I would say that
probably this Ndiaye from Everton. He's kind of he's the darling of the kind of engaged FPL community right now.
Currently slated to be on pens. There are rumors about Jack Grealish maybe moving to Everton on a straight loan deal per Ornstein, but if Ndiaye is going to be starting, He's a dynamic player.
Second striker.
I don't know if I want to watch this much Everton football. Ugh.
So well, I think that what might painful. Save you, Brian,
but
is
the Crypt Keeper is back from the dead. Mr. Moyes is back for his second season.
Roy Hodgson is the Crypt Keeper. That guy was basically dead on the sidelines. He was in like The Last of Us season 1. There are rumors, if you are looking to not torture yourself and become a casual Everton supporter, that Ndiaye is getting the eye from Inter Milan in Serie A. So that is another move that could have massive FPL importance if it goes through. So he's just one to watch. I think he's the only one in this price bracket that has penalties
that's why
and the fixtures and the upside.
Yep.
Now, looking elsewhere, I like Ismail Sarr. I know I shouted out Eze. If Eze leaves, all of a sudden, I think Sarr becomes like almost an essential pick at this price point because he'll take
That's strong.
He'll take a lot of that creative engine work that Eze was performing.
Take more shots as well.
And the advanced stats just love Sarr. I mean, the guy had, I think, the third best XGI behind like Salah and Palmer last season when it came to per 90. So he's really involved. His finishing leaves a little bit to be desired. But again, it's just kind of the opportunity costs, and the Palace fixtures are good, and they're not a nothing team. I think they again finished top half. So 6.5 million for potentially their second highest goal scorer. Yum. I like it.
Okay. And then Jack Grealish is 6.5 million. So just want to call that out. That could be an interesting move. The other players here, there's like actually quite a number of players. Matoma at Brighton, quality player. Is he going to be nailed? Most likely not. Brighton always fuck up. With, those
we're not Brighton supporters here.
That's right. But then Cherky at Man City is definitely one to watch. I would not be starting with him in my Game Week 1 squad, but he is a creative force who is going to look to express himself. Will Pep basically strangle the life out of him and make him into, Grealish like 2.0? We'll see, but 6.5 million, I think he'll play a factor in some of our sides.
Oh, interesting. I like that you picked out Cherky because I was going to say Doku if
jerky.
Grealish doesn't make the move. And so we're stuck with kind of this messy price point of Man City midfielders. We have Bilva, Cherky, Doku, Rodri, and Grealish all at 6.5 million. Doku is the one I really have my eye on. He's not making my team right now.
Doku.
But he looked like a player who was ready to break out at the Club World Cup and then again in their kind of initial preseason training. If Pep gives this guy the creative keys, it will kind of shift the center of the universe for Manchester City from the right center position, which has been kind of where Foden and KDB would occupy, more to like trending towards the left, which is where Doku kind of does his business. He's a dribbling machine. He's the best dribble take-oner in the Premier League based on the numbers.
I mean, part of me thinks that Marmoush could play on the left sometimes instead of a second striker, so I think that would be my preferred.
He really only played like the kind of that second number 10 role on the right and then right wing. So that would be a big departure from what he did last season. But again, now they have Ryan Aït-Nouri. I hate that guy's name. Ronaldo Aït-Nouri is going to be bombing up the left wing.
Shout out to Black
So, I think Doku and Aït-Nouri, that becomes like a really interesting partnership on that left side. Both very attack-minded. And again, I just think that adds a different dimension for Manchester City that maybe you're not getting with like a Cherky or a Bilva or a Rodri.
Yeah, quick point. Just want to point out Rodri coming back into the fold. In his Ballon d'Or season, he would have had 190 points if he was having his assists, goals, and then his DEFCON points. So we don't expect him to be playing that many minutes to put up that kind of performance. But later in the season, if you're holding him for 10, 15 game weeks, could be interesting. But
I think he'll have his moments.
Yeah.
I think
not a player for the high upside that we're going
to go last one. We got to talk about Kudus. Yep. It's Kudus season. Shout out to Eamon, who does our music, aka Holy Pinto. 6.5 million. Now he's nearly 27% owned. And there's another player, Matthias Tell, who came from Bayern. They're both 6.5 million. I think they're both really interesting, especially with the Madison
Tell
injury.
Is just too
he might be too rogue,
too lightweight right now that I don't see him starting a ton of matches. But Kudus He had a really down season last year, but so did everybody on West Ham outside of Bowen. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
he's definitely one to watch in their opening fixture versus Burnley. Could have him in your game week 1 squad.
The issue is, where is he? Is he going to start left wing in place of Son? Is he going to start 10?
Yeah.
I really like him more on that left wing. I think there's a more direct pathway for him to get the goals.
Yeah.
And he's such a great dribbler. His confidence might outstrip what you see on the stat sheet if you look up his Wikipedia page. But if you're an eye test manager like me, he's one of those players that just jumps off the screen. He's playing, and he's making an impact based on kind of the way the players around him are reacting when he has the ball. So I like him a lot.
Very interesting. All right, we're going long on this pod.
Of course we are, baby.
We're gonna potentially, we don't want to wake any of the sleeping kids up in the Bucksmom household, but let's talk about
my wife. We're already in trouble here.
Let's talk about the £5 to £6 million bracket as a whole. A couple players to highlight: Tielemans, maybe if he's on pens, they have great early fixtures. He might be more of a creative force if we're seeing Morgan Rogers be out for a long time, take some set pieces. So that's somebody to shout out, mainly because of the fixtures there.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, the 6.0 mark.
I think Paqueta is worth shouting out. He might be on penalties once again for West Ham.
He's cleared of his gambling allegations and charges.
A little nonsense, but
I wonder who got paid under the table for that.
Yeah, I think those are the two clear ones in the 6 million bracket. I actually would almost jump to 5.5 million.
No love for McNeil at 6.0. You think that?
Nah, he's finished. I think
finished.
The fact that KDH comes in, we're going to talk about him in a moment. I think he's the natural replacement, and also I think this James Gardner guy was already kind of eating McNeil's lunch after some injuries, and the age is catching up to him. But if we kind of double click and shine the spotlight on that 5.5 million bracket. Now, this is really where there's a lot of, I think,
it's a huge
high upside, risky picks.
It's a huge nexus point
and defensive mids.
In game week 1 sides is we need to pick one of these guys based on the importance of the defenders at the higher price points. They're probably going to outscore these guys from the £5 to £6 million mark in the midfield. So you need to shift probably a little bit more money into defense and looking at picking at least one of these 5.5 guys. So where do you want to start? Who is the clear standout here? I like Malin at.
Yeah, let's talk about Malin first. He was a loanee that was then signed permanently at Villa. Right now, he's having a banger of a preseason. He already has 3 assists and a goal. He should be nailed based on the way the squad is coming together, and with that Morgan Rogers injury news as kind of the second striker / right winger.
He's got the pedigree. He's played in some big games in Champions League.
He's a good enough player. I mean, I don't think he would be starting on any other top 4 team. But again, Villa have a quality attack. Emery has tended to get a really high performance out of his starters, especially those attackers. So, 5.5 million, it's kind of like a low risk, high upside move. And I think he's a player worth betting on at that kind of risk level.
Due to the fixtures, I think that's the big play. So it'd be interesting to see how he's affected by Morgan Rogers potentially being out. And then another player, like you said, who's in good preseason form is Harry Wilson for Fulham. Scored a boatload of goals. I'm not sure that he's going to be starting matches and playing more than 60 minutes. I think it's definitely a risky play, and I don't love Fulham's opening fixtures, but if anybody in those casuals want to throw him in, he is a player that had some.
You're saying casuals. I was shout out one of the best content creators in the game at FPL Harry. Was saying that he's going with his namesake, Harry Wilson, FPL Harry.
Interesting.
Kind of that handshake agreement, making love in that game week 1 side. He is the hottest player for what it's worth in preseason. He already has 5 goals.
Had some spectacular goals off the bench last year for Fulham to drag them out of a couple of bad positions. So he's 28 now. He's just always injury riddled. So I guess if you're going to take a punt at this slot, I don't mind any of the guys that you pick, honestly. I think if you're going to go with a boring 5.5, you're looking at probably somebody like Elliot Anderson.
Yeah, like the safe picks are Elliot Anderson, Moises Caicedo.
Especially if you're going to wild card in game week 6, which is a potential time, game week 6 or 7, or other people are going to hold out till 13, but at 6 or 7, then you take a punt on one of these guys, and if he doesn't work out, you bench him and you play your first defender off the bench who's going to have a high floor this season with the DEFCON points. So I really don't think you can really go wrong with any of the 5.5s that are being really talked about in the meta here. But,
I got 3 more I want to just throw into the spammer. So
let's go.
The new guy, Tijuan Reinders, he's coming in at 5.5 million from Manchester City. he scored double-digit goals last year. Now, again, he's taking a major step up into the Premier League, but he is not a defensive mid per se. He really is an attacking kind of like second midfielder. I think Mikati is also priced at the same bracket, and so is Oscar Bob. I mean, I'd much rather have Reinders unless one of those guys makes a move.
I think he's going to be more nailed for minutes than those other guys.
Yeah, and then Simon and Dingra, he's leaving Brighton to go to Sunderland. Probably their highest talent player. Just kind of when you
is are 5.5 or is he
5.5? When you look at it, that's Sunderland have good opening fixtures, but they are Sunderland, so they might just suck. And so, like, I'm
staying away from all promoted teams. Maybe
last one. This is my favorite one. I love John Arias. I've been telling Black Wolf. He was.
Did you see him in person?
Yeah, saw him twice at the Club World Cup. He absolutely tore Inter Milan a new butthole. Let's try and keep it PG with everyone else asleep. But he's a very impressive player coming to Wolves. I expect he's going to be one of the most nailed attackers behind JSL.
Could be on pens potentially.
I wouldn't go that far. I think Strand Larson is going to get that boost to get his goal tally out. But Arias has that explosive kind of talisman ability, and I think he's going to get a lot of minutes in this Wolves side that are, they just kind of need players to deliver the attacking returns. Okay. So I really like that. I mean, the opening fixtures, Manchester City specifically, it's pretty brutal, but he will be in my FPL team at some points this season for certain. 5.5 million, I think, kind of, he could get 15 goal involvements.
I like really good run under Piera, right? Like they did pretty well. They won 5 games out of 6.
They had their first 5-game Premier League win streak in their history. So that's not nothing. And again, he was one of those players that was tapped by the coach as kind of necessary reinforcements with Cunha leaving.
I think overall, Bucks, my big thing is at the 5.5. I want to go for an upside attacking player who can score goals. I'm not going to be going with DEFCON, like a Caicedo, for example. I'm just not interested in that. Maybe Elliot Anderson because he might take some set pieces, but outside of that, I want a goal scoring guy who could pop up with a 10-pointer in one of these 3 fixtures that I have to start him to open up the game.
Now, I have to say, we understand that the hashtag FPL community on social media is really just like a small subset of the players, and it's really a very isolated bubble. It feels like everyone has Elliot Anderson right now, but he's owned by less than 5% of the FPL game. I don't love it. I mean, he's a player that rotates really nicely with a number of other defenders and kind of other cheap enabling attackers. It's kind of like your upside is 5 points, 6 points. Yeah. That doesn't get me necessarily out of bed in the morning. My 3 kids do that well enough as is, but Elliot Anderson, it's just kind of like a boring blasé pick. So I'm not here with it. Let's transition.
2 goals, 6 assists last season, so 8 returns, some DEFCON points. It's a steady.
He's great for DEFCON.
It's a steady Eddie play if you're just want to have him in your side, maybe for bench boost and have a high floor. But they do have nice opening fixtures, I would say.
They do. The issue is really with Elliot Anderson, if we're getting really deep into the weeds, that I think if you're going to target the Forest opening fixtures, probably want to have a double up in their defense and Chris Wood. So that kind of makes it impossible to fit.
All right, we're talking midfielders here, Bucks. We got to wrap this pot up. I actually would shout out one other random player, another Elliott, Mr. Liverpool, Harvey Elliott. He's a player who might get a move and is just I've always been intrigued by him, but he's never broken through into the Liverpool side. He would be a great player to enter one of these
if he stays in the Premier League.
To really kind of push on, but just a random.
Let's say if you went to Brentford, would you have him? If you went to West Ham, would you have him?
He'd be very interesting in some of those teams. So, all right. And lastly, let's just cover a couple of other
budget bin.
And you got to start with KDH.
Yeah, this is my fucking guy, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, the great white hope that wears blue. He only plays for teams that wear blue. He was at Leicester, then he goes to Chelsea. Now he's at Everton.
He bleeds blue.
Now I just think, based on the price, based on his pedigree, he's a Chelsea caliber player that's now going to be playing at Everton. Now, he wasn't a Chelsea first choice player, but clearly he's a professional baller, and I think he's going to be a nailed on starter. 5 million. He'll be playing in the attacking midfield spot. It's a little sexier than Elliot Anderson. I'm just going to say it. 0.5 million cheaper. I look around this price bracket.
Baleba, 5.0.
if he stays at Brighton, that could be an interesting
30
play.
DEFCON points last year, so 15 games of DEFCON points. That's pretty good for 5.0. If you, again, really want to heavy up and you're not going to bench boost to start the season, so you want to put all that money into attack. Just somebody else who also,
Adam Wharton is another DM at this price bracket. I think he's probably pretty good for DEFCON on Palace. Doesn't offer nearly as much attacking upside as some of these other guys.
There's a couple guys on Sunderland that are getting a little.
Yeah, this Lafie guy. He was their talisman last year. And then Granit Xhaka, out of nowhere. Guy wants to retire on the coast of beautiful Sunderland. Didn't see that one coming. So those guys are both $5 million.
You see that video introducing him, and they're asking him, like, what do you love about Sunderland? They're just like,
I love Sunderland. I have no idea what the fuck happens up here, but I'm coming here.
Yeah.
Very bizarre.
He's getting that last bag. He's getting those high wages, apparently.
Listen, I can't fault anyone, printing some money for their own family.
All right, anybody else to shout out, Bucks? We're going long. We got to get
I like Onana. Amadou Onana at Villa, also $5 million. He had a couple of goals. He's really a set-piece threat. Again, does offer a little bit of the Seabird, the DEFCON points. And we'd be loath if we didn't shout out a guy whose nickname is Boobs. Boubacar Kamara, also on Villa. Both of our wives are in that overnight stage. Matt Law, he almost got canceled on social media. He called him Boobs with the eyes emoji. Come on, Matt Law, do better. It's 2025. You can't be just looking at boobs in the public eye. With
any 4.5s a shout out, or do we just don't
yeah, do not go to the 4.5 budget bin. If you need to, the only one that I really think has any potential value is this Joshua King. Now, not that Josh King.
18-year-old.
Yeah, he's an 18-year-old talent at Fulham. He's already gotten 2 halves of preseason. He scored in both those kind of limited minutes.
Yeah, interesting.
There's another kind of doppelganger in this Aaron Ramsey for Burnley. Not that Aaron Ramsey. He's the brother of Aston Villa. He's the kind of lesser talent brother of Aston Villa's Jacob Ramsey. And right now he's the highest owned 4.5 million option.
All right.
Don't go there. Just choose a 4 million or 4.5 million defender instead and shove the cash into midfield so you're not in this predicament. You're not at the dollar store. I don't know what the equivalent is in the UK, but trust me, you don't want to be eating food that's prepared at these stores.
Yeah, I think just to wrap up this kind of value and these price points, it's interesting. I think any midfielder 6.0 and below, I expect the top maybe 7 defenders to outscore every single 6.0 and below midfielder this season. I really truly believe that. All the premium defenders, I think, because of the new scoring, the bonus, etc., are going to be really outscoring these 6.0 and below midfielders. So if you are going to go with a midfielder of choice below 6.0, go for the goal scorer. Don't go boring and go for DEFCON. Go for the goal scorer. So that would be my overall takeaway from this bracket.
All right, before we get out of here, I do want to just ask, based on that commentary. So I guess if you're looking at kind of squad planning, do you think this is the year where maybe it's like the kind of the 3 midfielders is the sweet spot? You maybe go light in midfield. You go like the 4-3-3 as kind of the optimal lineup.
I'm really loving a lot of 4-4-2s, to be honest, and going maybe with the gooey man up top as your 4.5 and playing.
Now you're stealing my thunder. He was my guy.
Yep. But all right, Bucks. I think that's a wrap here. It's almost 10:45 here on the East Coast. It's time for me to venture back to Manhattan to my hotel. It's been fucking great seeing you in person.
Yeah, cheers.
Hanging out in
great
Brooklyn,
in real life podcast. We're still drinking here. It's gone off the rails a little bit. Again, we are the FPL USA Press Play Podcast. You can find us across all social media. We are FPL USA Press Play on all social. I'm FPL USA Bucks for FPL USA Brian. Again, join our free to enter prize mini league. Code is PELL04. We'd love to be sending you a free Premier League kit at the end of the season. If not, shouting you out on our weekly podcast episodes. Brian, get us out of here. Let's go.
It's been a pleasure, Bucks. I cannot wait to pod with you on the forwards coming up very soon next week, and then we'll have our Game Week 1 preview featuring Black Wolf to
Oh
go through
man,
our
how good is
drafts.
that going to be?
Yeah,
We're
it's
going to
gonna
get
be great. The
Dan
three
back.
amigos
We're
back
going to
in
bully
action.
the hell out of him. We're going to ridicule his team, and probably he won't come back for a couple games after that.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us for this pod. Check us out again, trying to grow our YouTube presence. So any retweets, reposts, shares.
Be really horrible if we
Send a
got
link
to
to a friend.
triple digits after this episode. That would be terrible. I definitely wouldn't be bragging to my family about that.
Oh boy, but yeah, it's been a pleasure, Bucks, and we'll catch you next week.
Toodles.